Welcome back to Stifling Jesus. After Israel is delivered on this constant basis by the saviors or judges of Israel, the people come to the last representative of that period of Israel's history, and they say, we want a king. Like all the other nations around us, we want to have a king who can take care of us and protect us and watch over us from our enemies. This really hurts Samuel. Samuel goes and talks with Yahweh about it, and God assures him that they're not rejecting him so much as they are rejecting the rule of God over them. And this is something they've done throughout their history already, and something that continues to characterize them. God ultimately tells Samuel, I want you to give them what they're asking for, but before you do that, I want you to give them a warning about what this will mean for their lives. Because once you appoint a human ruler like that in his family over a nation, there's going to be all kinds of demands made of the people in order to support that government that they're now establishing. Samuel goes to the people. He lets them know what's going to mean, that it's going to be a hardship on them and their families, and it's going to take a percentage of their crops and their money and all the rest of these things. So the people still say, no, we really want a king. We want a king like the other nations. Now, if you remember in the law, there was this constant warning about being like all the other nations. So Samuel yields, as God told him to, and God expresses his displeasure at this development. The people are all alarmed, but they're still determined to have a king, because they believe that a king will solve their problems, that a king will make sure that they can rally the people and all the rest of this stuff. Despite the fact that God's been doing this throughout the history of Israel, they don't want to operate on that basis anymore. But the condition God asks of them is to remember that they are still to obey the law. They're still meant to observe Torah and to keep the commitment they made to God when he called them at the mountain. So God's going to appoint a king, and a king is not going to be the solution to their problems. God has been betrayed by Israel, and now Israel is going to see what that means. He appoints Saul as king. He eventually goes mad trying to keep King David from rising to the throne. King David, gets this kingdom ready for the building of the temple, giving God's tent a permanent place to be in the city of Jerusalem. And then Solomon is the one who's going to be granted wisdom and wealth beyond imagination in order to make that a reality. And still, things are going to go terribly wrong. And we'll talk more about that in the next video. Please subscribe and join me in this trip through the biblical story. Thank you.